Hello children, welcome to today's video. Today we shall study chapter 2 concept of water conservation from unit 2 water conservation. In nature there is a season cycle of summer, monsoon and winter. The water required for life is available to us during the monsoon season. Not all parts of Maharashtra receive uniform rainfall. The water that falls during rainy season naturally seeps into the soil. Now, some water is been stored as surface water. Okay. In addition, some of this water evaporates. Some is used directly by plants, and rest is carried away in the form of runoff. So, a runoff is a stream of water which flows over the surface of the ground. Now, we know there are various resources of water, right? Now, water sources found in hills, rivers and wells in the form of spring starts depleting within a few days after the end of rainy season. So, at such times water is needed. So, what happens? Some areas are constantly facing a shortage of rainfall. Okay, there is shortage of water. So, in these cases, it is necessary to stop this wasted runoff. Okay, this stream of water which flows over the surface, we have to stop it and collect the maximum amount of rainwater and store it in a suitable place or bury it into the ground. So, now let us see what is water conservation first. Now, water conservation is the use of man-made measures to block, store or intake the rainwater in an area by constructing various structures and allowing it to be used for drinking, consumption, industry and agriculture until you get the next rainfall or until the next monsoon. Okay. Next, need of water conservation. Now we know the rainfall period and the simultaneous rainfall has become unpredictable. Okay, earlier during rainy season we used to get rainfall, enough of rainfall which was sufficient throughout the year. But now the cycle has been changed. We cannot predict the rainfall. It is unpredictable. Okay, 4 months of low but continuous rain has now become erratic due to climate change. There are frequent instances where the maximum rainfall falls in short period of time and the dry period of two rains last a long period of time. Okay, so what we can do, eventually the amount of infiltration of running water is also declining. It is becoming less. Trees control the speed of rainwater. The roots of the trees carry the water from the surface to the ground. Now, water is been carried away from land rapidly due to cutting down of trees or cutting down of forest, okay, or by tree planting, because what happens, the root holds the soil, okay. So, when the tree grows up, the roots go deep inside the soil and they hold the soil. But when you cut down the trees or when you plant new trees, the soil is not that sturdy, okay, it is not that fixed, so it can flow easily with the water. Now, even after building a house in town or village, a thick layer of cement and sand is sprayed in the space around the house, right? When you build a house, okay, what happens? So you can see there is a concrete construction which has been made around the house, okay. So, as a result, the area and the rate of infiltration of water into the soil is greatly reduced. So, due to that, the water does not seeps into the ground, okay, it flows away. But water is still available as much as it has to be available in the past, but water consumption is also increasing due to huge population growth. The amount of water available for water conservation and the amount of water use is declining. So considering all these factors, we have to see what are the measures we can use to conserve water, or what is the need for, or how we can conserve the, uh, why there is a need for water conservation, and how we can help it out. Now first is usefulness of water conservation. Now we know that the economic development of rural areas of the state based on public participation as well as natural resources. The following can be achieved through water conservation. First is sustainability. Now, in the abstraction or lifting of water from the catchment area, okay, if the lifting of water is less, then the recharge rate of this is also less, and hence the water consumption becomes less. So, what happens? Water retention will occur unknowingly, and a sustainable water supply can be ensured. Next, energy conservation. Now we know electricity is used for water management, right? So 15% electricity is used for energy conservation. So reducing water consumption will also save energy and conserve more energy. Next, habitat conservation. Reducing the use of fresh water will keep freshwater reservoirs intact and protect the organisms from drying out. Next, rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting is the process of diverting, infiltrating and making rainwater available in the same area, in the right place, in the right way for further use. Okay. Now there are two types of rainwater harvesting. One is the temporary use and the other one is the use after the end of rainy season. Now first, temporary use is when it is raining, the water is been stored enough, okay, for 4-5 days, and you can use that rainwater. Okay, that is called as temporary use. Use after the end of rain season means water is stored in tanks or in wells, bore wells or any other places, and you can use this water throughout the year, okay, even after the end of rainy season. So rainwater harvesting can be done perfectly in both cities as well as villages, and it can be beneficial for both of them. Next, urban water conservation. When it rains in the city, water falls from the roof of the building. It has been carried down through the pipes in most places to the municipal drain. From there, it converges and flows into nearby streams, rivers, creeks, or seas. Now, depending on the surface of the land, the amount of water that will be absorbed and carried is determined. The surface also determines if the rainwater will be absorbed or it will be carried away. If there is an open ground or soil, 50% of the water falling settles down in the soil. But if it is concrete or a hard surface, then 10% won't be absorbed. Most of the 10% won't be absorbed, and like most of the water will be carried away. Okay. In the past, there was a soil in the premises of buildings. There are a lot of grounds and open spaces also available. So the water would first seep into the ground and then come out of the yard. So the water came slowly and it took time to fill the runnels. Now, due to depletion or disappearance of soil, the water immediately and completely enters the streams and creates floods like conditions in the area. This is currently happening all over the cities, and there is also negligence in constructing unauthorized buildings, roads and sidewalks, road dividers, etc. This is compounded by irregularities in non-sanitation or alleged irregularities in waste disposal, etc., and this creates the current dire situation. Now, due to the concreting of most parts of the city, it cannot be used for water filtration. In addition, it is seen how the rainwater will go towards the sea as soon as possible. As a result, the water content of the soil has been decreased. So, this leads to flooding in rainy season and water scarcity in the summer season. Now, if the wells, bore wells, etc. in the areas are recharged, the life of those sources will also be extended. But the picture is not visible as floods in monsoon and scarcity in summer. And most importantly, the area is self-sufficient in water, not completely dependent on government for water, and only it requires public participation. Next, water conservation in rural areas. The water requirement of village can be met by diverting, infiltrating and storing water in the same area. It needs to be considered not only for drinking but also can be used for domestic purpose, for cattle and further uses for second and third season crops also. If water conservation is planned properly and implemented, the village location, the population, the water requirement of the village, the water sources, their capacity, water requirement for agriculture, number of cattle in the village, land type, soil type, depth of the rock, etc. are all the factors considered, okay, for a successful water conservation in the area. If the water conservation is to be successfully implemented for the longer time, it also requires participation of people. Now, there are several benefits of rainwater harvesting. Let us look what are there. First, existing water sources are strengthened. Okay. Then next, it improves the quality of water. Then the life of the well and borewell also lasts longer. Then we can avoid water flooding, water logging, etc. Then also the most important, the salts in the water of the borewell can be reduced and the water can be made available for drinking. Next, the journey towards water self-sufficiency continues longer and there is no need to rely entirely on the government for water. The Department of Water Conservation. It was established by the government of Maharashtra on June 5, 1992. The department has been entrusted with the responsibility of monitoring important central and state-sponsored schemes like water conservation, soil conservation, integrated watershed development, minor irrigation, wasteland development, etc. As on 31st May 2017, the Department of Water Conservation has been restricted by the government and a separate Department of Soil and Water Conservation have been set up. Its functions are with minimum land acquisition process, implementation of small and medium scale irrigation projects at a low cost in 1 to 2 years, raising of groundwater level, siltation for large and medium projects, prevention of soil erosion, creation of decentralized water reservoirs. To carry out rapid development and regulation of watershed and water conservation works, including minor irrigation projects, and to make special provision of related matters, the Maharashtra Water Conservation Corporation was established on 22nd August 2000 and is headquartered at Aurangabad. The department has a 21% share in total generated irrigation capacity of the state. So, this is just a information they have given us regarding the Department of Water Conservation. Okay, just let's see what is the history of water conservation structure. Okay, historical water conservation structure. Whether it is an ocean island near the shore or whether it is an urban fort or a mountain fort, it is very easy to see the rainwater which is being conserved and the required water which is being available for the use. On-site structures were constructed and maintained with proper care to ensure that there is adequate supply of water to the people in the area through wells, tanks, lakes, ponds and pushkarnis, etc. Measures taken on seafood. Now, if you observe Kulaba, Janjira, Sindhurga or any other seafood, you will notice that despite the water, salt water all around, all these forts also have fresh water reserves in the form of lakes or wells. Okay, if you have visited any fort, you can see there are always ponds or some pushkarnis or some lakes which has been built during ancient times. What was the purpose of that? To conserve the fresh water for drinking purpose. Now, this was only possible with the help of sources like wells, pushkarnis and lakes. Now, this is also an example, excellent example of an on-site water conservation. While constructing the ramparts of the forts, now what is ramparts? Those are the walls which are constructed, okay, the boundary walls, okay. You can see the picture how it is. You can see in the picture those walls which are there, those are called as ramparts of the fort. Ramparts means the walls, okay, huge walls. While constructing the ramparts of the fort, care were taken that rainwater in the vicinity of the fort would not be carried out. So for that purpose they were constructing this wall so that the water which is there, it would be stored in that place only. A water reservoir was built on the fort and then that water was used throughout the year as needed. Many measures were taken in construction and in design to reduce the evaporation of that limited reserve. Care was also taken that direct sunlight did not reach the water and the water remained clean. All of this is still working properly today. Water conservation on hill and urban forts. There are many examples of water conservation on forts in almost all the parts of the country. Water conservation and management measures are also being used in places like Nardurg, Onsa on land, most of the hill forts in Maharashtra as well as sea forts. Here too, while constructing the ramparts of the forts, there were precaution which was taken that the rainwater following this vicinity should not flow out or should not be carried out. Okay, so the ramparts were also constructed in such a way. Okay, now this water was infiltrated in the area and then it was used for wells, then it was stored in tanks, it was stored in ponds. Even today we see the system working properly. Okay, so using this principle, fresh water was provided by the water conservation and management even on marine forts. Okay, so with this we have completed the chapter. Children, for your homework you have to complete the exercise questions from 1 to 7 in your notebook. Okay, so with this we have completed the chapter.